AU behind the Turkey Africa Business Forum here in Istanbul have realized in aligning their great agenda in terms of 2063 that by joining hands with ATB, surely some of the objectives can be implemented through close collaboration and building synergies like-minded entities could have. Dear colleagues, friends, and Honorable Minister, we mean business and we need all of us to put our own hands on the deck. We have gone this far collectively, each planning his or her own part, and no man can claim victory on his or her own efforts. May I applaud you for taking this organization to your competency. It is your time, it is my time, it is our time, never to be deterred on the mission at hand. Tourism should blend us, tourism should cement us, and tourism should be able to bring a smile to the little child in our destinations. Tourism should shape our own economies. Tourism should change people's lives. Tourism should cement unity for a purpose. And tourism is us. I cannot end my remarks without inviting everyone to join efforts with other global leaders convening in similar important events, notably the WTTC that is happening in Kigali from November to 3rd, 2023, to discuss important matters pertaining making the tourism sector lead African global economic transformations of our respective destinations. And the same, I invite you for the Intra-Africa Trade Fair happening in Cairo, in Egypt, starting November 11th, 2023, where the ATB is taking the lead of collaboration to make this event a successful convening to take Africa's tourism to the next level. And once again, thank you, friends. Thank you to our patron, Honorable Tariq Rufai. And once again, I wish you all an inspiring, peaceful World Tourism Day, a rewarding tourism month, and a very fruitful tourism year. I end Chairman's remarks. I submit over to you, our director for today's program. Thank you, honorables, for your attention.
Nancy, please unmute yourself.
My apologies. Thank you so much, Honorable Frank. My apologies for that. On this special occasion, let us reflect on the importance of tourism as a catalyst for economic growth and a bridge that connects people globally. We stand on the precipice of a new era for tourism, one that necessitates sustainable practices, responsible travel, and a commitment to preserving the unique beauty of our destinations. Now, before we embark on our discussions and celebrations, allow me to introduce our next very distinguished speaker, the Honorable Vera Kamtsukuli, Malawi's Minister of Tourism. Honorable Kamtsukuli has made significant strides in promoting Malawi as an emerging tourism destination. Her dedication to fostering responsible tourism and preserving Malawi's natural beauty is truly commendable. Your Excellency, Honorable Minister, it is a great honor to have you. We'd love to hear from you.
Thank you so much. Moderator, can you hear me okay?
Yes, Your Honorable, we can hear you.
Thank you so much. So I'll try to make my remarks very brief. I feel profoundly honored and consider myself privileged that I could be included in your meeting today and deliver a keynote address to you esteemed members of the African Tourism Board in my capacity as a Minister of Tourism for the government of Malawi. I'll mainly focus my talk on the issue of global tourism value chain, but also I'll touch a bit on the green investments as guided by the UNWTO in this year, specifically looking at the issues of planet, prosperity, as well as people. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, our continent is undergoing a transformative shift in its tourism landscape, and I want to emphasize the significance of embracing this change for the betterment of our people and the preservation of our unique cultures and biodiversity heritage. We need to adapt, because without adapting to the ever-changing environment, we can never survive in the environment that we operate in. Africa's place in the global tourism value chain has been evolving rapidly, and I think we can all attest to this. But with rich and diverse ecosystems, coupled with a tapestry of cultures, Africa is an untapped reservoir of potential. Unfortunately, I've always argued, and I repeat it here, Africans themselves are yet to embrace the enormous potential that Africa has to offer, both for now and the future. If COVID-19 has taught us anything, then this is the thing that it has taught us, that it is time now that Africa started looking within ourselves, among ourselves, for solutions that work for us, for solutions that work for Africa. Our scenic landscapes, wildlife, and vibrant traditions offers us an unparalleled tourism experience. But so does the richness of our skills and talents that are spread across the continent. It is therefore not only imperative that we harness this potential to strengthen our economies and improve the livelihoods of our people, but that we do so facing forward to future generations. We owe them that much. People, we must learn to look at each other, but that we do so resources other than fierce competitors. We must begin to look for the good in another, appreciating what they do better than us, and find means and ways of collaborating. We must realize that we are better off as allies than enemies, even as regional blocs, as SADC, COMESA, African Continent Free Trade Area, ECOWAS, etc. We are most definitely not a bunch of individuals roaming around our countries aimlessly. We are nations, we are countries, we are a whole continent of Africa, and that is bigger than all of us, all of our egos combined. So what must we really do? Number one, we need to, when we are investing in tourism, we must do so with a commitment of sustainability and environmental consciousness. The planet is our greatest resource, and we have so abused it for a long time, and it is now hitting back. A couple of months ago, Malawi was hit by Cyclone Freddy, and we lost over 1,000 people. 1,000 human beings were lost in this country. And it devastated a lot of infrastructure, and over half a million people were left destitute. And we have seen some devastations as well in Morocco and Libya in this last couple of weeks. We can no longer ignore the impact of climate change on our lives. As a matter of fact, it is high time we started considering the continent, the entire continent, as a protected area. It must hurt us when we see someone hurting the environment. Malawi, just like any other African nation, is blessed with biodiversity and natural resources that must be preserved for future generations. Investing in eco-friendly tourism practices, therefore, not only ensures a prosperous today, but also a greener and more sustainable future. Cultural and biodiversity tourism are two of Africa's greatest assets. Our cultural heritage, which spans thousands of years, is an endless source of fascination for visitors from around the world. By showcasing our traditions, music, art, culture, cuisines, we can foster deeper connections with our visitors, creating a memorable experience that transcends more than mere sightseeing. However, I feel like we must demystify tourism. And I think when I came into the meeting, somebody was talking about us over-relying on people that come from elsewhere coming into Africa. So I say that we must demystify how we look at tourism. That it is not only for those that come to us. We must do everything that we can to ensure that people, the element of people, is at the center of our green investments. We must promote domestic tourism. Because if Africans are not moving within their continent, within their own countries, then we don't have a tourism agenda. We don't have a tourism sector at all. We must always realize that people are our greatest and most powerful line of defense. So a hotel that is centered in another area, the greatest powerful resource that they have, the best line of defense is the people that are surrounding that entity. People will fight against a project if its existence doesn't have any meaningful impact in their lives. Working with communities, therefore, goes a long way in not only sustaining livelihoods, but also enhancing people's participation. Likewise, our rich biodiversity, from the big five of our national parks to the lush rainforests and pristine coastlines, is a testament to Africa's natural wonders. By far, we are blessed beyond measure as a continent. By promoting sustainable wildlife conservation and ecotourism practices, we can ensure that these marvels remain for generations to come. Because we have seen these, we must do everything in our power to ensure that the next generation also sees them. In this era of growing environmental consciousness, it is imperative and paramount to invest in green initiatives. We must reduce our carbon footprint, minimize waste, and encourage eco-friendly practices across the tourism value chain. This not only benefits the environment, but also enhances the attractiveness of our destinations to eco-conscious travelers. As a matter of fact, going forward, operators within the tourism sector that are not environmental conscious will go out of business. Partnerships are also key to our success. We must seek to collaborate with other African nations and beyond, sharing best practices and facilitating seamless travel across borders. Why must it be so hard for one African to travel from one country to another, and that it becomes a little bit easy for an African to travel to another continent? I think that's an anomaly we must correct. In this space, it is also important to recognize strategic media partnerships. I have in mind an organization called Global Indian Network, which plays a crucial role in promoting destinations, sharing cultural insights, and connecting travelers with unique experiences. These platforms have the power to shape perceptions, inspire wanderlust, and drive significant tourism growth. Collaborations with media and such platforms can be a game changer if we wish to succeed as destinations. Destination marketing is not always cheap, but we must do it. We must be deliberate in ensuring that we are showcasing what Africa has to offer. We must avoid predatory marketing that demonizes one destination against another. Africa is one huge country with different elements. There is unity in diversity. As we celebrate our uniqueness as a country, we must also appreciate the same in another country within the region. Why should a person leave Europe and just visit one country in Africa? Why don't we come together and offer them a coherent or holistic package? I celebrate what Zambia, Botswana, Zimbabwe have done through the CASA visa arrangement. A person lands in Lusaka or Harare, and then they're able to visit the other countries just by paying $50 for visa. We can emulate something like this, where African countries are coming together to work together to deliver a tourism package that is holistic and coherent. We must align our intent with international organizations and private sector stakeholders, allowing us to gain momentum and confidence to invest in infrastructure, technology, and training that will make African tourism more competitive and sustainable. When visitors come here, they want to have an experience. For us to deliver that, we need to be specific in terms of what kind of skills we need to have, both at the lower and higher level. Our quest in this regard must be emphatic and deliberate. How do we leverage on technology, for example, including AI, to advance the case for African tourism? I'm happy to report that in Malawi in particular, there's been a growing interest in the past couple of months from financial institutions to support issues of tourism. I want to believe that it is incumbent upon us as the players to make the financial people see what we see in terms of the potential that tourism has. We are the ones that anchor economies across the continent. We can therefore not be ignored. In conclusion, allow me to say this. African tourism is not just about visiting exotic destinations. It's about harnessing and the potential within these nations. It's about celebrating the cultures, the difference and uniqueness of people. By fostering partnerships and leveraging the power of media and specialized platforms and partnerships, we can unlock Africa's potential as a global tourism powerhouse, creating a win-win situation for travelers and communities alike. Together, we can make Africa tourism a beacon of hope and prosperity for the world. The world can learn from Africa. I thank you so much for listening, and I hand it back to the moderator. Thank you so much.
Honorable Minister, thank you so much. That was so enlightening. I cannot thank you enough. You've given us a lot of hope. And if you allow me, may I just ask a question, Honorable, regarding to what you've just said? I think it would be very valuable for the audience. I know that Malawi is an emerging tourism destination, and what you've said has made a lot of sense in terms of Africa, benefiting from our diversity, sharing best practices, sharing our platforms, even possibly co-branding our tourism products. How do you see, looking at Malawi as an emerging tourism destination, what can Malawi share with the rest of the world in terms of, for other countries in Africa that are looking also to develop their tourism, but possibly with limited resources? What can Malawi share with the rest of Africa in this sense?
Thank you so much, moderator. If you're talking about having limited resources, and Malawi is your classic example. But what I've noted, because I've just been in post in the tourism ministry since February, and what I've noted is that our inability to develop our products, not because we are unable to develop the products, but because we don't think those are the products, those are tourism products. So for example, I was at Lake Malawi National Park, but Lake Malawi National Park is a UNESCO World Heritage Site. Did you know that Lake Malawi has over 1,000 species of fish, the highest number of species of fish in the world, in any water body in the world? And 350 of those species of fish are found at the Lake Malawi National Park, where I was today. Beautiful types of fish. We call them cichlids. And it is the first national park in the world that was able to house animals and people, as well as being surrounded by water. As I'm speaking, you're able to see and imagine what it is like, but we have failed to package that as a product. And that has nothing to do with money. It has everything to do with the fact that you are realizing what you have, and now you're packaging it to somebody that would want to come and learn about fish. We have birds in this country that are just, you can only find them in Malawi. They're endemic to Malawi. You can only find them in Malawi. And there are a lot of people across the world that would just want to come here for bird watching. That Lake Malawi National Park that I'm talking about is the safest place in the world to do snorkeling. But we have not packaged these products like this. And so it is not about you having money. I know that we need to invest in money, but in economics, we learn that there will always be money for a good idea. In the first place, do you have the idea? What is it that you want to invest your money in? And so we need to come up with an inventory, for example. What do you really have? And this is about inward looking, not relative to what somebody else has. So I shouldn't look at Zimbabwe. I shouldn't look at Namibia. I shouldn't look at Botswana. I should look at me. Because when I, as a Malawian, and the Botswana person and the Zimbabwean stand together, people are going to separate us by the cultures that we represent, because that's how you tell Africans apart, the language, the dialect. So we need to look within ourselves to say, what is it that we have? And then try to see how now can we invest to ensure that we are developing these kind of products as unique products for ourselves. That's how I can respond to that.
Thank you so much, Honorable Minister. Appreciate that. Also, if you allow me, Mr. Rahim, before we go to our next speaker, may I ask you also a quick question with regards to sustainable development of tourism and being paramount importance? What initiatives and strategies has Zanzibar implemented to ensure that tourism benefits local communities and preserves the natural environment, cultural traditions of the islands? What can the rest of Africa learn from Zanzibar's model? Oh, sir, you're on mute. Sorry, Mr. Rahim, your account is on mute. Sorry, you're still muted.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can hear you, sir.
Okay. First of all, let me commend Honorable Minister Vera for her excellent presentation and really touching to the right points of the concerns which we had. Let's be very honest, on the Zanzibar, we have seen the major impact of sustainable tourism coming in. And last year, we have actually declared, we have passed the declaration of sustainable tourism. on the island, with supervision coming from the Zanzibar Commission for Tourism, and trying to make those responsible and the investors become responsible of sustaining the tourism or sustaining, being part of the sustainable tourism activities on the island. We have realized that as an authority, you can't enforce and impact if there is no willingness coming from the sector holders by themselves. So we need to engage those who are part of the sector and those coming into a value chain. Now, from the value chain, what we have realized is over-exploring. That's where the biggest problem we find is over-exploring of the resources which we offer as a destination. We have to limit over-exploring ourselves, and we have to educate and bring into the attention the generation about maintaining and sustaining. It's not like we can achieve it overnight. It has to be brought from the very young generation, from within our youths, where we missed out, where we lacked to be informed and to be taught about sustainable tourism. That's why the nature is hitting us back. And that's what we are trying to do. For example, we have our Stone Town, our UNESCO World Heritage Site. But the population and the traffic is already causing a lot of problems to the Stone Town. Now, the idea is how can we restrict without affecting the people residing it, because we don't want to lose the touch and the beauty of the Stone Town. The societies living within, they make the part of the Stone Town and the beauty which we are able to offer as a destination. However, sustaining it is always a big issue because the population is growing, the new generation is coming in, and then we also have a migrating staff coming in. So the biggest idea is educating them, understanding it, and making our people realize that what we have inherited, we need to inherit to our generation to come. And this cannot be achieved by one single country, but rather we all need to collaborate. What we can learn from Egypt, what Egypt has lost on the Sharm el-Sheikh side, we need to rectify that on Zanzibar side. What Mombasa has encountered, we don't want to repeat those mistakes over here. And gradually we are trying to bring things together. However, there are youths who are the new generation. Recently in Zanzibar, we had this youth forum, which just concluded last week, which they have brought in a lot of new declarations, which we feel like these declarations are already, we are achieving because it is coming into their understanding and in their mentality that this thing needs to be sustained. However, certain things will only be sustainable if also the government enhances it. Usage of plastic bags, plastic material, this is even as a regulatory bodies or policymakers, they need to play their part also. So we can shout as much as we can, but if the regulatory bodies and the policymakers do not implement and enhance it, then that's where we'll end up losing out.
Thank you so much, sir. That's very well noted. Appreciate that. So I would like to introduce our next speaker. So I'd like to introduce the Honorable Dine Burema, the Vice Chairman of the African Tourism Board. So basically, it's a great honor, sir, to have you with us today, and would like to just say that you are a pivotal leader in the African Tourism Board, and if you would kindly just take the floor, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Nassi. I'm come from Benin, who is a francophone country. I don't speak well English. My English is very bad. I try to speak what I can. I try to speak English, and when I finish, I make a summary for in French. Honorable Edmond Bartlett, Minister of Tourism, Republic of Jamaica. Honorable Vera Kamtukule, Minister of Tourism Malawi, Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, President of African Tourism Board, permit me to recognize other expected speakers. Honorable Board member of African Tourism Board, ATB members, present, ladies and gentlemen, and order of press. It is my greatest pleasure to deliver this speech on this occasion of commemorating the World Tourism Day 2023. In particular, being a day, our dear organization, the African Tourism Board, made appropriate to present our new technical commissioner to a world officially. Last year, our indefatigable president, Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, gave me the mandate to select certain individuals within our organization that would support the board to stay the well of ATB as we total of restructuring. Without much ado, we constituted a committee, of which I am the chairman, while Ambassador Kazim Balogun is the secretary, and Honorable Nkumbe and Honorable Iwoti Amberbi, our Secretary General, is inside also. We swung into action by calling for application for members to apply for various positions to be filled. To cut a long story short, the team worked seriously to pick the best hand among the numerous applicants that were as well as capable of delivering on our mandate. But as we all know, much are called, few are chosen. Here we are today, presenting the commissioner to the general public after the initial inaugurated by the board. Let me appreciate our amiable president, Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, who say the need for an inclusive ATB and also to in it with to assign such a role to my humble self. I thank you for the confidence you put in me. And let me equally appreciate our humble secretary, Ambassador Kazim Balogun, who sleeping night and other members of the selection committee. To our energy commissioner, I want to thank you for the willing guest to support our dear ATB. Please, let me reiterate that this assignment is use and need all dedication on your part. It is our utmost belief that you will deliver on our mandate in conformity with our action plan. I want to finish. I want to tell you we are here to try to support you, to help you to make a very good job for ATB. I want to try to make some summary in French. Bonjour tout le monde, je suis Dean Bouraïman de Cotonou au Bénin, je suis vice-président de African Tourism Board. Ce jour est un jour important pour notre organisation puisque c'est un jour de grande commémoration où nous célébrons la Journée mondiale du tourisme. Je voudrais dire que nous avons profité de cette commémoration pour présenter les membres des commissions, notamment les personnes qui ont la charge de diriger les 9 commissions que nous avons. Je voudrais demander aux commissions de travailler pour le bien-être de African Tourism Board, pour le bien-être de tourisme en Afrique, pour permettre à l'Afrique de sortir de l'ornière. Je vous remercie. Thank you very much, everybody.
Thank you so much, sir. We appreciate that. And before I go on to introduce the next speaker, I just wanted to reiterate what our Honorable Vice President has said in the sense of the diversity and something also our Honorable Minister of Malawi has said as well, the diversity of Africa. As you can see from the different speakers, we as a continent have many different cultures, languages, tribes, such a rich diversity and history that we can all benefit from as a continent, of course. And as ATB, our mandate includes fostering the effective collaboration between the different African countries. So we serve as a strategic partner among African countries, bringing them together to better develop, market, and implement tourism programs that meet the emerging needs of local industries in the international tourism market. By promoting Africa as a worldwide destination, which is what we do as ATB, we aim to create unified presence that resonates across the globe. We also are all about advancing sustainable tourism. Our commitment to sustainable tourism practices is at the forefront of our efforts. We work relentlessly to ensure that tourism in Africa grows while preserving the continent's unique natural and cultural assets. We are all about promoting unity. Africa is a continent of diverse cultures, as we've said many times, landscapes and opportunities, and ATB endeavors to bring together its member countries and industry partners, fostering that collaboration and unity. Together, we can harness this immense potential of Africa's tourism sector and provide travelers with remarkable travel experiences. And finally, we're all about showcasing Africa's vast richness. So Africa is a treasure trove of diverse cultures, breathtaking landscapes, captivating wildlife, and we work hard with our partners to raise awareness about this richness. We believe in showcasing the depth and diversity of Africa to the world, inviting travelers to explore the wonders that our continent has to offer. On this special occasion, I welcome you all to celebrate with us all that Africa has to offer. And I'd like to introduce our next speaker. And it's a great honor to introduce the Honorable Ambassador Emmanuel Frimpong, coming to us from Ghana. Ambassador Frimpong is the Vice President, the Africa Medical Tourism Council in Ghana, the Honorary Director General of the African Continent for the Global Alliance for Ecotourism and Sustainable Tourism, Golden Awards Committee member of the Afro-Asian Union, AFASU, President and founder of the African Tourism Research Network, ATRN, and an Executive Secretary of the Ghana Tourism Federation. It's a great honor again to welcome you, Ambassador, and the floor is yours.
Thank you very much, Madam Moderator. Very good evening, good afternoon, and probably good morning, depending on where one is watching us from. And let me also appreciate the organizers of this event. For inviting tourism in Africa, and appreciate the Honorable Minister from Zimbabwe. I think couldn't join, but the Honorable Minister of Malawi has also done a wonderful work. Probably talked about almost everything that I wanted to talk about. So I appreciate her eloquence and deep understanding of tourism in Africa and the way Africa should look at tourism. In the next 5 minutes, I'll be looking at 5 key points that, in my perspective, Africa should be looking at if we indeed want to leverage on the potential of tourism for development in Africa as we commemorate the UNWTO Day. The first point that I want to raise, I'll just go through the 5 points and within the next 3-4 minutes, see how we can delve into each of them. The first one has to do with digitization or AI, artificial intelligence. The next one is data or involving media, and then sustainability as well as ecotourism, and then using tourism as a tool for poverty alleviation, and finally, using tourism as a tool for peace within Africa. Now, if you look at tourism, the era of doing tourism as people visiting attraction sites is gradually becoming a thing of the past. People want experience, and the experience is not just about going to visit a destination. People are looking at what is it that we can use digitization or artificial intelligence to actually promote tourism and benefit other African countries. Therefore, Africa has a responsibility not to be left behind, as it always happens. Anytime there's new innovation, new development, new ideas, we seem to be left behind. We always do catch up. We should not be sitting back for other countries to get into artificial intelligence or digitization and then do a catch up. We will not be able to make it if we don't start investing in digitization or artificial intelligence. The next thing that we need to do is data. Data is the new gold, it's everything. Unfortunately, Africa do not own data. We rely on what other people, what development partners beyond Africa tell us. And they tell us what will suit them. So Africa must look at how do we get data? How do we use the academia to do research into areas? The Honorable Minister of Malawi mentioned an area that she visited today. And most of us have no idea where this area is and the potential that it has. If we can do a research, publish it, other people who are interested in watching birds, in looking at this fish species, will be able to get to know it. And then also local communities will benefit from tourism. Of course, she mentioned media, which is extremely important. Africa also does not give its own narrative. It is always other people that come to the country and give their own narrative based on their own perspective within the few days or few weeks that they visit Africa. I don't think it is right for any other person or media personality to come to Africa and give their own perspective about Africa to us. We should be able to embolden the media in Africa to be able to tell our own story to the world. And the focus of negativity by our media should also cease. There are a lot of positive things that we can talk about in Africa, yet we focus on the negative aspect of Africa to let the world know that Africa is a place you shouldn't visit. No, Africa is a beautiful place. And I like the way the chairperson of ATB, Dr. Talib, puts it. Africa must be enjoyed by Africans first. When we do that, that is when we put out the good narrative. The next thing has to do with sustainable tourism and ecotourism. If we do not pay attention to the environment, we are doomed. And we have already seen what is happening. Just about last week or 2 weeks ago, there was rain in Ghana and most of the places got flooded, including malls got flooded. And we saw it across the globe. And we heard about Malawi. 1,000 people lost their lives. Infrastructures were destroyed. We need to pay attention to ecotourism, sustainability. If we don't do that as a people, we will not survive. And the next generation will blame us for what we should have done and we didn't do. The next thing that we need to also focus on as we look at tourism as the opportunity for tourism to be used as a development tool or poverty alleviation. For me, I do not know of any industry or any sector that has the potential to impact countries like tourism. And we have seen it. COVID has shown us, and we have seen how people who have no education or little education have made it through tourism. The tourism linkages is so huge and is so wide that it rises from the top to the bottom to the person in the local community, the person in the rural area who has no education, who has no investment, nothing. But if we are able to project tourism, if you are able to market the tourism, it is a potential for development in our various countries and communities and rural areas. The next thing has to do with tourism as a tool. Tourism as a tool for peace. We have all seen in West African countries emerging coup d'etats that is raving the entire sub-region. And I think that tourism has the potential to actually be used as a tool for peace, so that we can look at what is it that we can actually do to help the continent of Africa. Tourism has the potential, because if I'm visiting a country like Malawi, I'm visiting Togo, and I have free access, there's no restriction, nothing is restricting me from moving from one region to another, then I begin to love that country. And if somebody is also visiting Ghana, that person also begins to love the country. And if we are also promoting domestic tourism, I will find it difficult to destroy places where I have visited. So tourism must be used as a tool for peace. And if we can do that, and we all have that responsibility in as any small way that we can to use tourism as a tool for peace, so that we develop tourism to help the continent. I thank you and I submit.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Really, it's a great honor to have you with us today, and thank you for those words of wisdom. Now I would like to introduce our next speaker, who will be introducing our new ATB commissioners. It gives me great honor to introduce Ambassador Kazim Bulagon, and he is ATB's Media and Communications Director. It's a great honor to have you, Ambassador. The floor is yours.
Yes, thank you, our moderator. Thank you for what you've been doing. We appreciate it. Let me remain on the existing protocol in order to save time. I thank you, everyone listening. So I'll just go straight to call out the names of our commissioners, so that we can get to know them and get to know their offices as well. So number one is Ambassador Amaka Amatoku Ndeku. She's going to be handling the Marketing and Promotion Commission for ATB. And number two, we have Ambassador Fatim Tola. She's going to be handling our Finance/Fund Mobilization Commission. Number three, we have Ambassador Francis Mugoga. He will be in charge of Sustainable Tourism Products Development. And number four, we have Ambassador Peace Onuyuri. She will be in charge of the Health and Safety Commission. Number five, we have Ambassador Nolofo Leban. She will be in charge of Human Resources and Membership for ATB. And number five, number six, Ambassador Betty Ugu. She will be in charge of Women, Children, and Youth Commission of this organization. Then we have number seven, Ambassador Charity Sutingi. She will be in charge of events and travel management. And number 8, we have Mr. Pauline Bijo. He is in charge of our local matters. And number 9, we have Ambassador Deji Ajomale. He will be in charge of sports and culture. So those are the commissioners that we have for now. And let me quickly say this. I have an apology from Ambassador Amaka Ndeko. She won't be able to join us today, but she regrets that. Hopefully, she will find a way to cover that. So she told me, as a matter of fact, she was here earlier, but something came up that she had to quickly. So thank you for listening.
Thank you so much, Honorable. So before we go on to the next distinguished speaker, and before we continue on, as you know, today we have some prizes. This is just to make today, since it is a special occasion, or we are celebrating a special occasion. So we'd like to ask a question, and I would say you can respond in the chat, and the first person to respond, as long as it's correct, will win the first prize. So one of the questions that's going to be asked, and if you were paying attention today, you would have heard it. So the Honorable Minister of Tourism for Malawi had mentioned that she had visited somewhere, a hotspot of tourism in Malawi recently. And if you remembered, the name of this destination in Malawi, which is a tourist hotspot, please go ahead and write it in the chat. Okay, so we already have someone that's already responded, and I believe responded correctly. Yes, Lake Malawi. Yes. And before we continue
the correct response is Lake Malawi National Park.
Yes, exactly. So, Honorable, would you kindly just tell us a little bit about it? What makes it so special?
Okay, so I'll go again. What makes it so special is the fact that this is a UNESCO World Heritage Site, the first of its kind in the world to ever have housed animals and human beings and surrounded by a lake. And it is Lake Malawi has over 1,000 type species of fish. However, 350 of those cichlids are found at Lake Malawi National Park. And there's a place called Otterport within the Lake Malawi National Park at which you can go stand on a rock and see all these 350 at once. And this is the safest place in the world to do snorkeling. And so it doesn't have bilharzia. It will never have bilharzia because of the cichlids that are there and all of that. And so you also have an opportunity, if you don't want to be in the lake, to see the wild. So you can see the elephants, you can see the lions, you can see everything within the national park. You can go swimming, you can go bird watching, all of that at Lake Malawi National Park. And the sunset is to die for at Lake Malawi National Park. So I invite you to come to see this national park.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Honorable. That's incredible. I think most of us are very excited now to explore Malawi and to see some of these beautiful sites. So again, we have our other, one of our other keynote speakers, Mr. Rahim. So congratulations, of course, to our winner. But would like to ask the next question. Who remembers here, Mr. Rahim, our distinguished speaker, he's the chairman of which tourism entity for which country? So could you kindly put that in the chat if you know the answer to that? Okay, we have another winner. So yes, I said country, but I should have said, I guess, destination, but I guess country would be correct, Mr. Rahim? We would say the country is Tanzania, but the destination would be Zanzibar. I think Mr. Rahim, I'm not sure if he's online. but this is great. So people are paying attention. That's wonderful. So as we continue on, I'd like to introduce our next distinguished speaker. It's such a wonderful, wonderful honor to have with us Dr. Talib Rifai from Jordan right now. So he is a patron of ATB, the Africa Tourism Board, and as you know, of course, he was in charge of course, the UN WTO. So it is such an honor, and a great honor to have you with us today. I would ask if everyone could just mute themselves, just so that we can be able to hear our next distinguished speaker. Dr. Talib, the microphone is yours.
Thank you. Thank you, Nancy. Thank you very much for everything. It's an honor to be here with you all. Africa is very important to us. Africa is very important to the world altogether. All what you have to do is watch the BBC series, The Journey of Man, which proves that everybody came out of Africa. We all came out of Africa. Every one of us came out of Africa. So it's important that Africa takes its role and its position in the world today. That's something that tourism would help to classify and do the best possible way. Now, what is Africa is not just one country. Africa is a world of its own. It has so many destinations, so many diversities. But the important thing is that Africa is Africa. Now, I was born in Africa. I may not have the right color skin, the right color eyes, but I am African at heart, very much so. It's something that we all must live with. I very much appreciated the words of the Honorable Minister from Malawi. She's a wonderful lady, and it's an honor to be here with her. She spoke very well about what we need to do as Africans and the world at large, what needs to do for Africa. Thank you very much, Sir Nancy. Thank you for allowing me to speak. Thank you. It's an honor to be here. Bye.
Thank you so much, sir. It's such a great honor to have you with us today. Sir, would you allow me just to ask a quick question, and forgive me. So I'm speaking, of course, I'm located in Egypt, and being from North Africa, also proud to be an African. I know that a lot of the African countries are looking at different, markets, like in terms of source markets, like looking at the Middle East, for example. What would be your advice, given your knowledge with the UN WTO, what would be your advice on how these African countries can win over more tourists from the Middle East and from, some of these Arabic-speaking destinations, sir?
Thank you so much. It's an honor to speak to somebody from Egypt. I was born in Egypt. I was born in Cairo a long time ago. So it's an honor to be here with you. Now, as to your direct answer to your question, I think Africa should try to promote itself as a unique destination, as a destination that would appeal to everybody in the world, not just to the Middle East, but the Middle East in particular. What they need to see is something of luxury and something of importance to them. That's very important. For example, in North Africa is part of the Middle East. North Africa is also from Egypt to Morocco. It's also a very unique destination. They know how to attract Arab visitors. Now, we need Arab visitors from the Gulf, people that can pay money, not just from our countries, you and I, Nancy. And that's something needs to be studied carefully. But one single piece of advice is that what we need to do here is understand the demands of these people. What do they really need? and cater for that. Because after all, people would come to Africa to learn from Africa. African must not change to please their visitors. The visit must change to please the local people. It's a principle that we should always keep in mind. I thank you very much, Nancy. It's a very important question. Thank you.
Thank you so much, sir. It's an honor to have you. Being born in Egypt, it's a great honor. So before we continue on, Honorable Minister from Malawi, Honorable Vieira, if you allow me to ask you another question with regards to Malawi. So the role of tourism in community development is critical. How does Malawi involve local communities in tourism initiatives? And what economic and social benefits have been realized through such engagements?
No, thank you very much. I think the first port of call for us is that government should lead by example. So at the moment, we're working with African parks in terms of the management of our, I think 5 of our protected areas, game reserves and national parks. But we just also signed an agreement with Peace Parks Foundation two months ago. That is going to obviously now the uniqueness of the agreement that we have signed with Peace Parks Foundation is that it's not a concession, is a co-management, it's a co-management agreement. So it's the communities, government, as well as the Peace Parks Foundation that are coming in. But I think the communities and government are taking up to 70% membership therein within the co-management agreement. What we're trying to do there, can you still hear me okay?
Yes, ma'am. We can hear you.
Yeah, so what we're trying to do there is just to showcase to everyone within the operators, this is how, bless you, this is how you're supposed to work together with the community. So for example, the African Parks arrangement, the communities are involved. They have a lot of, because the issue is, these are the communities that are surrounding the protected areas. The protected area provides a source of energy. So they can easily go in and cut down trees. It provides a source of food. They can easily go in there and get fruits or get animals that are being protected. And so you need to find alternative solutions for their livelihoods. And they feel entitled to getting that firewood, to getting those animals because they are within their community. One community member once told me, God gave us this protected area. Why should you keep it away from us? So it's making deliberate efforts to ensure that you are providing an alternative solution for communities to supplement their livelihoods. In that way, they will be the ones, like I said, to be the first line of protection as far as the protected area is concerned, without which they will hammer you. They will be in conflict with the animals. They will be in conflict with our rangers. This has been a very, very big problem for us. So basically what I'm trying to say is, it is incumbent upon every tourist operator to ensure that they are involving the community. So for example, if there's like Lake Malawi National Park is in Mangoji, all right, which is plus or minus 200 kilometers away from Lilongwe, the capital city. Why should a lodge in Lake Malawi or around Lake Malawi National Park go to Blantyre or go to Lilongwe for vegetables when they can get those vegetables from within the communities? So there should be that kind of sense of pride from the community saying, without this lodge or this motel or this hotel, my children shouldn't be going to school. That clinic nearby shouldn't have medicine without this animal within the park. So the other thing that we are trying to do is to enhance sensitization, where we are saying people should need to look at animals not as animals. They need to look at animals or wildlife as a thing of beauty, something that sustains us as human beings. If we don't raise those kind of consciousness, there will still is going to be a problem within the sustainability agenda. So we need to ensure that we are promoting sensitization, and government is not very good in terms of sensitization. That's where now you work with the private sector institutions, you work with community mobilizers, the NGOs and all of that to ensure that all of us are on the same page. Government at that level is the one that is providing the policy guidance. And then the others that are coming in down from there are the ones that are implementing with government, providing that supervision or supervisory role.
Thank you so much, Honorable. I see we have a question. Before I get to that question, if you allow me, I'm just going to take advantage of my being a moderator to just make a quick comment related. I think with regards to when we talk about like co-branding, because each of our countries has something very rich to offer in terms of our tourism products. When we look at Egypt, for example, we talk about the pyramids, the Great Pyramids of Giza, and this is something very, unique. And when we talk about Zambia, we talk about, Victoria Falls is one of the wonders of the world. When we talk about Uganda, we talk about the source of the Nile. Malawi, we've heard from the Honorable Minister some very amazing and exciting features, as well as from Mr. Rahim with regards to Zanzibar. I think the idea now is how we can co-brand our products, how we can, as ATB strategizes to promote Africa as one destination, and how we can work together to collaborate. We have the pyramids, you have Lake Malawi, how we can get our
Can I come in there?
Please.
I think the first port of call is the collaboration between the governments. And so, and it's just a simple, what I've learned in my work, being in this government position for the past 3 years, is that when you're talking about the law only provides the minimum requirements. So you shouldn't go beyond this, below this. That's what the law does. So when Egypt and Malawi signs a memorandum of understanding or an MOU, memorandum of agreement, what that does is just a document that binds us together. It provides the minimum requirements. In terms of the nitty-gritties as to where we can go, how far we can go, we can always come to an agreement as we go. We can always have tailor-made activities together. So the issue is government to government should be talking to each other. Let's have an agreement. Malawi and Egypt, Malawi and Zimbabwe, Malawi and Botswana are going to work together jointly. All right. And then in what? That's when our various departments now come in. That's when our two operators from the private sector from Egypt, private sector from Malawi coming together to work. But at the beginning, the governments have agreed because everyone falls under the government. So usually what happens is that when I'm looking at figures from Egypt, I'm getting intimidated to say, Egypt is much better. Or I'm comparing myself relative to Egypt. I can never be like Egypt. Neither can Egypt become like Malawi. However, when we come together as two countries, we are powerful beyond measure. That's what I'm talking about here.
Yeah,
the collaboration has to be from government first, and then private sector also have to be coordinated, supervised by us, and then other operators as well. And then even you can connect the communities. Why not? You can go as far as connecting the communities where they can share experiences to say, how are you being affected by the national park? Just today, I was handling an issue where we had our elephants that had come out of a national park, and they were threatening people's lives. One woman has been injured as of today. And what I discovered, my people, when they went there, the rangers, they're telling me that, you know what? So the animals have come out, they are with young ones. And naturally, an elephant, when it has a young one, it will protect its young ones against anything else that it considers to be a threat. And so these people, because it's a thing of, it's fascinating to see an elephant. So they were charging towards the elephants, and the elephants were charging against the human beings. So there was a conflict, and one woman ended up being injured, unfortunately. So we thank God that there was no death this time around, but there's been some deaths. I think the past 2 years, we have had at least 3 deaths from animal-human conflict. We don't want to have that. So what I'm saying is a community in Kasungu should be able to connect with a community in Cairo where they're able to share these experiences and all of that. But the governments would have converged and agreed on what has to happen.
Those are very wonderful words of wisdom, and I agree 100%. Thank you so much, Honorable.
Nancy, if I can pop in.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, my understanding is, for us to succeed, we first of all have to create accessibility as Africa. And if the governments are keen to achieve the goal, then there should be a common policy. We have been shouting as the stakeholders of the sector, but there are things which are beyond us. Opening of skies, opening of borders is something about the government policies. As the stakeholders, we are playing our part. However, we are at times being dragged back because of the government-to-government policies. Now, when we say that we want to achieve something with tourism, it's about how country and country, as the Honorable Minister have said, that they can sign an MOU, but how do you move the traffic between two destinations? We know our infrastructures are not right, but let's focus on the strength we have. Okay, most of the time when we attend this, people compare the EU, compare North America. Those people are far beyond with the infrastructure. It's not easy to case study, to follow their case study. Let us create our own case study. What do we offer? Today, getting from Tanzania to Malawi will take you 8 hours or 10 hours. But those 8 or 10 hours, what will you see on the road? What the challenges will you face? Will your trip become flexible and enjoyable, or it's a burden for you to travel? Those are the factors we judge on how to develop, how for a tourist to make a decision to visit a destination to another destination. Now, I feel like on our part, referral visas between countries, expensive or closed skies, expensive operating cost, these are affecting regional and African tourism. Me wanting to travel to Egypt today, there is no flight from Tanzania from Zanzibar to Egypt. Either I have to go to Middle East or Europe and then come. Me wanting to go to Morocco, need to fly to Europe and then come back to Morocco. But these case studies which we are looking, look at Morocco and Spain. There is a ferry boat crossing there. You encourage people to take a ferry of 2 hours and reach Morocco. But when we want to travel from Zanzibar and go to Ghana or Accra, I mean, look at it. Is there any other option? What is the best option of getting there? And when we talk about hospitality industry, it's about you to try and go and explore the destination, explore what it has to offer in terms of culture, food, heritage. But if it becomes a burden on you, then it's quite difficult for you to also go and explore. Most of us will prefer going to Asia and Europe because of the infrastructure and the accessibility of getting there within the limited time frame. Getting a customer from North America to Zanzibar takes 18 to 24 hours, a day lost. So that is where the government needs to focus. We can be shouting with each other, but as far as we don't have that trust, that faith within each other, and trusting that we can offer the best, our people can take advantage, we won't reach there. We are not going anywhere. We keep on the forums, we'll come, we'll talk, and we'll talk and talk. I'm sorry, but thank you very much.
I wanted to come in there just to compliment what the person that I just left the floor has said, the Honorable Minister from Zanzibar. We were in Mauritius just 2 months ago, if it's not last month, and the Deputy Minister from Tanzania, she had to leave Dar es Salaam and go to Dubai before coming to Mauritius. And all of us felt it was ridiculous. One person, I think from East Africa, if it's not West Africa, it took them over 25 hours to get from their country to Mauritius. So we are making it excessively difficult for our countries to be accessible by Africans. Why are we doing that? We need to find means and ways of ensuring that, because the issue that came out in the meeting was that the fact that Africans are not moving within Africa, but there are barriers to moving within Africa. Number one, flights are expensive. You would find cheaper flights from Africa to Europe than you would find from Africa to another African country. So we need to make it deliberate for us to ensure that we are open to each other as Africans. I just wanted to compliment the speaker on that one. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable. Thank you so much, Mr. Rahim. This is such an amazing and such an important conversation, and I think our commissioners would agree that we're tackling or we're discussing some of the very important topics that affect us as Africans, and especially working in the tourism sector in terms of, forwarding our agenda to promote our destinations. So before we answer questions, I see there's a hands up, and we'll definitely get to some questions. I'd like to give an opportunity to our ATB commissioners to introduce themselves to our guests. So I begin with Ambassador Amaka Amatuku, our ATB Marketing and Promotion Commissioner. Could you kindly introduce yourself?
Yes, my honorable moderator. Like I said before, she won't be able to be here. Yeah, she sent in her apology, so she'll cover up for that.
Thank you, sir. So then can we hear from Ambassador Fatim Tola, the ATB Finance Fund Mobilization Commissioner?
Hello, everyone. I'm Fatim Tola from Côte d'Ivoire. And I want to thank you for giving the floor. And I want to greet our President, Mr. Katba Nkube, and our Vice President, Mr. Dean Boraima. It's truly an honor for me to represent the Commissioner of Finance. And
I write it's bold, try to bold. Wonderful. You highlight it.
Sorry, thank you. So now I would like to introduce Ambassador Francis Mgogo, ATB Sustainable Tourism Products Development.
Thank you very much, Nancy.
Thank you so much for everything. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Should I continue or should I wait for her to finish?
I apologize.
Yes, I finished. Thank you so much. I want to promote more ATB. Thank you to all of you. Merci beaucoup from Côte d'Ivoire. Merci. Thank you.
Again.
All right. I'm Francis Mugoga, and I am the incoming commissioner in charge of sustainable tourism product development. And I'm humbled and at the same time excited to be appointed in this docket. I love tourism and I'm passionate about the sector. I'm a practitioner. At the same time, I'm a trainer. And I've been with the ATB for some good years now. And I appreciate the work that the executive committee headed by our beloved President Cuthbert Nkube to bring us this far, that we can now, be able to see and push the agenda of the African tourism. Back here, I'm the CEO of a tour company called Explore Africa Safaris, and we sell and promote tourism in Africa, but we are now been in 4 countries in East Africa. At the same time, I'm the director of Hospitality Training Institute, Tourism Institute of East Africa. At the same time, I'm the CEO of Utalii Events Co Africa, a company that is organizing together with different partners, including ATB, organizing the first ever Utalii Tourism African Expo, which is taking place next year in June. And I'm happy to hear from the Honorable Minister of Tourism in Malawi, the Commissioner in Zanzibar. We were supposed to be there last week, but I couldn't make it because of the airspace and the flights in our region, like we'll be talking about. And so we're hoping to see everyone next year in Uganda, showcasing Africa tourism products in Kampala, all the 54 African countries. We'll talk about that at some point. I'm happy to be in this, to be part of the Africa Tourism Board and to be in this commission as the Sustainable Tourism Product Developer, at the same time, it's Commissioner for Africa Tourism Board. We have talked about, Africa, having all these beauties and all these amazing things. But like several people have been talking about Africa, it starts with us. We need to love Africa, we need to love our countries, and we need to love our continent in order for us to be able to appreciate, invest, and protect what God has given us.
Thank
the
you
government,
so much.
yes, the last one. The government has to work closely with the private sector. We shouldn't work in isolation. Government set policies and they dump them to the private sector, but they don't help and support the private sector. Let Africa Tourism Board, governments, the private sector work together in order for us to promote Africa tourism. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much. Ambassadors, we'd like to just keep the comments to minimum, only so we can hear from all of you in the interest of time. So I'd like to introduce Ambassador Peace Inuri, and she's the ATB Health and Safety Commissioner. And I'm very sorry if I'm pronouncing your names incorrectly. I apologize for that. And please, also, when you introduce yourself, let us know where you're calling from. Thank you.
All right, thank you. Our Excellencies in the House, I greet you, Honorable Talib, and our Honorable Minister of Tourism, and Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, President, African Tourism Board, and Honorable Dean Buraimo, Vice President, African Tourism Board, and all other commissioners, all protocols duly observed. My name is Ambassador Peace Oniri from Nigeria, and I'm incoming Commissioner for Health and Tourism and Health and Safety in African Tourism Board. I've had about almost two decades of practice in the health sector, especially in public health promotion with an MPH and a PhD in view. For OSHA UK, that is the Occupational Safety and Health Association. I'm also currently the Director for Health Training for Africa. I'm the State Coordinator for Women in Business and Tourism, and a Fellow of OSHA UK and other agencies. I'm also a Certified Health and Safety Manager. And recently in Ghana, during the 2023 Regional Integration Issues Forum, the Chief of Staff of African Continental Free Trade Area, Mr. Sylvia Ojakol, made an assertion that if African countries came together and achieved just 1% increase in trade among itself, we would earn about $70 billion per year, which will be higher than the $58 billion given by donors as developmental assistance. This projection aims at increasing the continental GDP through tourism and economic activities. Now, in order to achieve this, people, goods, and services will move freely across several borders in higher proportions. Hence, health and safety of tourists is paramount at this time. Now, the COVID pandemic has changed the view of many travelers within and outside Africa. They now have higher expectations for their health and safety, with emphasis on cleanliness, establishment of clear and transparent protocols, and effective communication among travelers. Travelers' confidence in health, safety, and security will now be a key factor in African tourism recovery. Now, African Tourism Board, through our able President, Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, and the Vice President, Honorable Dean Buraimo, has taken a proactive measure in addressing this need by creating this Health and Safety Commission with the following objectives. One, prevention of communicable disease transmission among tourists. 2, promotion of food safety and general hygiene. 3, improvement of safety culture among tourists. 4, reduction of health disparities in Africa. 5, health and safety surveillance and monitoring. And lastly, advocacy and training in health enhancing behaviors among tourists.
Thank you so
much. Now, in order to achieve this, just lastly, the Health and Safety Commission will be promoting the Continental Health and Safety Advocacy Project. And colleagues, I want to invite you to this exciting opportunity where we have our passion for the health, well-being, and safety of tourists, thereby improving and creating a positive change in our beautiful continent. Thank you.
So much. Thank you so much, Ambassador. Again, please, in the interest of time, I would just ask that we keep our introductions brief. Before I continue on to our next ambassador, I would like to give the opportunity to Mr. Abdullah Omar. I know you had your hand up. You wanted to ask a question. I'd like to give you an opportunity now to ask that question.
Okay, yes. Thank you very much. My name is Abdullah Omar from Malawi. I'm currently in Cairo, Egypt, at a chief for tourism. My interest especially was on Egypt and as a very good example of tourism place. I'm aware that Honorable Minister has alluded to, and as well the commissioner just recently from Uganda, that we all need to put our houses in order and love Africa, and then tourism will go beyond. I'll just give an example that being from Malawi, then I didn't know how to travel, or I didn't have that passion of traveling. But fortunately, I traveled, and then I visited a number of countries. One of them is Zimbabwe, where they have a very good Victoria Falls. And now coming to Egypt, we have some places where they also have their own, they call them Shalalat. It's a place known by, it's a Fayum. It's a district known by the Shalalat. Shalalat, they are the falls. Now, I was wondering that these places that I have been to, I'm not trying to degrade or to devalue these places, but Malawi has very good Shalalat, which are the falls in one of the districts in Mulanje called Diwe Lankalamba. I don't know whether the moderator can pronounce that.
I can write it down for you in the comments. It's in
yes,
Mulanje.
Yes, it's called Diwe Lankalamba. If you go to this place, it's just as beautiful and natural as it is. Therefore, what I wanted to comment as well on that is that it should start from us. Us as people, as citizens of the country. Here in Egypt, it is the very citizens who visit their places. So it starts with them. And then they tramp upon it. They blow a trumpet upon it. They add voice upon it. So that when you hear about the Shalalat, when you hear about the falls, you have a passion to go and visit this place. Why? Because it has started by them. Therefore, my comment is just an addition to what Honorable Minister has said. And again, the commissioner from Uganda has said that it should start from us as the owners of the country and as Africans. So in supporting each other, just another example that Malawi, Zambia, and Mozambique, they have just launched recently. Our state president, His Excellency, President Dr. Lazarus Makathi Chagwera, was launching together with these two presidents. This is the unity, this is the uniform, this is the unison that all Africans have to work together. We have to get together, work in unison so that we promote African heritage. Thank you very much, the moderator, for giving me this chance. I'm sorry that I've taken much of time, but I just wanted to allude to what my minister from Malawi has said. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. So before we take any more questions, I would like to go on to introduce Ambassador Nonofu Lebang, ATB Human Resources and Membership Commissioner. Ambassador.
Thank you so very much. Allow me to say all protocol observed this evening. My name is Nonofu Lebang. I'm Ambassador. I'm standing in from Botswana, incoming Commissioner for Human Resource and Membership. Allow me, moderator, just at least 2 minutes to touch on a few things that I've been listening to what the other speakers have been saying. A lot of us, we've been talking about sustainability. And then in the context of human resource, over the past years, there's been a change on the demand and supply pattern of human resource in the travel industry, with the demand in favor of more educated and specialized personnel. This is one area that we tend to overlook. Do we have the people that have the capacity? You know, as we are changing, as the times are changing, as there's actually a different rhythm altogether to people. I mean, across all the tourists that are coming within Africa, a lot of them, they come here for the experience. We sell experience more than anything. We sell experience, and this experience is not tangible. It's memories. We create memories, but do we have the capacity to give people that, to give people the experience that they desire? I would take us to TripAdvisors. I would take us to all these channels that we have online, where we have reviews of all our facilities across Africa, across the globe. Most of our guests would leave reviews there to say, I had a very beautiful time at Planet Baobab. I have a very beautiful time at this place. And in most cases, there are areas where you realize guests are not happy. And guests are not happy because the human resource element that requires investment on people has been lagging behind and mostly has been left aside. So I would love to make a plea to say or propose a resilience-based framework for the review of the global tourism industry post-COVID-19 that would outline the 4 prominent factors for building resilience in the industry. And this is what Minister Vera has touched, that is government response. I'm very, very much happy that we do have ministers in the house with us today to say the response of our government to all of these things is very paramount. We need to also what Ambassador Emmanuel has said, technology and innovation. This is one of it. We need local belongingness. People need to feel like this is ours. Like one of the speakers was saying, it's high time we tell our stories. And if we narrate, if we change the narrative of Africa and tell our stories the way we know them, the way they are, and if we instill the confidence in the workers, you know, a waiter somewhere, they need to be confident about the destination. We are speaking in terms of numbers of bringing people in here, but are we building that capacity? Lastly, we need to instill that confidence, like I was saying, in our consumers and our employees as well. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you so much. Again, before we entertain more questions, Ambassador Betty Mahugu, ATB Women, Youth and Children Commissioner, the microphone is yours.
Thank you so much, Honorable Nancy, for this opportunity. Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, distinguished guests, Honorable Minister and Honorable leadership of African Tourism Board. Today, I am excited to make my submission as the incoming Commissioner for Women, Youth, and Children in the African Tourism Board. And I'm deeply honored and humbled by this appointment. I would like to express my sincere appreciation to my president, Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, and the deputy, who headed the selection committee, Raima, and for giving me this responsibility and trusting me with this significant responsibility in a docket that I'm incredibly passionate about. I started Go Tell Tours and Travels when I was 24 years old, a youth. And as a woman who started my journey in the tourism industry many years back and being a youth, this appointment is a moment of immense pride and joy. It is a testament to the progress we have made as a society in recognizing the vital contributions of women and youth, in development and growth of the tourism sector. It gives me great honor and pleasure and privilege to serve in this role where I can champion the interests of these and empower the voices of these vital stakeholders in the industry. Today, I would like to take this opportunity to briefly, because I don't have any time, just mention one of our key thoughts in how we are going to take up this role. And like our Honorable Minister, Vera Sharon just said, I start with Sharon because Sharon is my beloved daughter. She just gave a story about Lake Marawi National Park. And unless you have any restrictions, you just want to board the next flight and get there. Just storytelling. And in this era of technology, I'm excited to work with the women who know how to tell stories and youth who know how to distribute the stories. And so we are looking at possibilities of just giving the stories and using the technology, to tell more about Africa and how, how we'll be able to bring this into the world and much more into ourselves, the Africans, so that we can visit each other as Africans and tell more stories. So I have a lineup of points that I would like to say at this point and even to share.
We don't
have the benefits of time.
Yeah, sorry, we've run out of time, but we have a few more people we need to introduce. Could we keep any other comments maybe after we introduce the rest of the ambassadors, and then perhaps if we have time we can go back? Would that be possible?
Thank you. Thank you very much. Yes, very important. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. So the next person I would like to introduce, Ambassador Charity Chitiji, ATB Event and Travel Management Commissioner. Ambassador.
Thank you very much, and well done for the moderation. Yeah, distinguished guests, the African Tourism Board Executive Fellow Ambassadors, good evening, good morning, wherever you are. My name is Ambassador Charity Givinji, and I'm the incoming Commissioner for Events and Travel Management. I've been serving the tourism sector within the East African region for about 30 years. And we've done a lot in terms of capacity building, green festivals, which is my space, as well as booking platforms. And I run Tandaza Africa and KenyaBooking.com. So what we intend to do, I'll be very quick on this so we can be able to save on time, is to work with the tourism fraternity and the business communities in bringing Africa together with a population of 1.2 billion. We don't see the reason why we should not be able to make it as Africa in traveling and trading with each other. So our area of focus will be green events and travel management solutions, mainly through creation of partnerships in the different destinations. We're not going to reinvent the wheel, but we will add value to the existing initiatives across Africa. Our festivals and activities will be characterized by the integration of sustainability in a holistic way, adopting economic, social, cultural, and environmental issues. So with Africa's diverse, rich resources from the people, natural resources, culture, music, and food, we shall together be able to add value and create unique experiences. We also aim to work together and build products that are appealing to the African traveler, because the products that are in the market do not appeal to the to the African traveler. So this is a key thing. And what I will say at this point is that united we win. Let's work together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Appreciate it. And thank you so much for keeping to your time.
Thank you.
I'd also now like to introduce Ambassador Pauline Vissau, ATB Legal Matters Commissioner. Ambassador?
Yes. Hello, Nancy. Hello, everyone. My name is Pauline Vissau from Benin Republic. I'm sorry, I'm from a Francophone country, so my English is not as fluent as yours. Yes, I'm happy to be member of this powerful organization. It is a pleasure. Actually, I got involved in tourism matters, let's say something about 10 or 15 years ago, thanks to Mr. Dean Burema from Benin Republic. So I happened to discover that it is a fantastic work. And when I got the announcement of ATB looking for a legal specialist to back up the organization, it was a pleasure to submit my application. And everything went on well. So I'm happy to be among you to learn more and to let you know that I'm a senior legal, not less than 20 years of experience in public-private partnership buildings. So it will be something really nice. Whenever ATB need my expertise in terms of contract drafting, legal advice, legal, let's say, any legal matters, I'll be available to give my advice. So thank you very much. I love you all, and unite, we will win. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. And again, thank you so much for your flexibility in speaking in English. As we know, Africa is very diverse. We have our Francophones, which are equally, have equal right, of course, to also have events in their language, which I'm sure in our future events will also recognize that. And thank you so much for your flexibility.
You're welcome.
Thank you. So I would like to introduce, I don't want to say last but not least, but our next and final commissioner that I would like to introduce is Ambassador Suku Ajomale McWord, and he's the ATB Sports Tourism Commissioner. And I have to say, I'm quite excited, of course, by all the different positions that our commissioners have, but I'm excited to see that as a continent, we are also prioritizing sports tourism, which I believe is a very important aspect of our tourism offering. So Ambassador, like to hear from you. Ambassador.
Okay.
Okay.
So can you hear me now?
Yes, sir.
Okay, great. So Ambassador Deji Ajomale McWord from Nigeria. I am the Commissioner for Sports Tourism, African Tourism Board. And back home in Nigeria, in my home country, Nigeria, I was part of the team that drafted what the Senate of the Federal Republic of Nigeria later passed into law and became the sport industry policy last year. In my line of work, I've had the privilege of being identified with by Confederation of African Football, the World Athletics, and of course La Liga. I'm practically the face of sports tourism on the continent, and I also have a global platform. I'm the founder of World Sports Tourism Day, and of course, I serve as the Secretary General of World Sports Tourism Council. So I intend bringing years of expertise to the table and to help Africa build a continent where sports is not just seen as sport, but seen as sports tourism, so that those in the sport divide can see sport as sports tourism, and those in the tourism divide can also see tourism as sports tourism. It gives me great pleasure. Many thanks to the chairman of African Tourism Board, Honorable Cuthbert Nkube, and of course the Vice President, Mr. Honorable, forgive me, I don't want to massacre your name, but of course he's my Yoruba brother from Benin. I'm grateful for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with every other commissioner and of course other members of the committee of African Tourism Board. I think it's best I stop here. Thank you very much for this opportunity, and I look forward to working with everyone. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. Appreciate that. So, so before we answer some questions and before we go into our closing, I would like to recognize that our Honorable Chairman, President of African Tourism Board, is with us this evening. It's great to see that he was able to join us. This event would not be complete without his presence, so we'll ask him, of course, to give the closing remarks. And again, it's a great honor. And before I answer your questions, as we said earlier, we have some questions, and if you answer correctly, we have a few prizes that are offered today. So one of the questions, and I would like, this is to see if you've been paying attention, and please give an opportunity to our guests, of course, for all of our ATB members. But who, if you remember the name of the Vice President of ATB, please write it in the chat. The first person to respond correctly will win a prize. The Vice President of ATB. If you remember the name, please write it in the chat. Okay, excellent. So now we'll have to ask another question. So do you remember what the original day is for World Tourism Day 2023? What is the original day that it was celebrated on for World Tourism Day 2023? Please put that date in. Okay, great. Okay, so now, okay, how many commissioners were introduced today as incoming commissioners? Do you remember that number? Okay, so I think Honorable SG, I think we have some winners today, which is very exciting. So now, and first I want to apologize that we've gone over a bit over time from what we promised in our agenda. So hopefully you will bear with us. We have just a few questions. We just ask, of course, we want to entertain your questions, but we ask that if you could keep the questions brief. And because we would like also to ask our chairman to give the closing remarks, and then afterwards, we're more than happy to entertain more questions. So I do see that Ms. Vera has had her hand up, and then we have Honorable Kenny, which I would like to thank you again, all of you, for tuning in. So Ms. Vera, please go ahead with your question.
Yeah, thank you, Ambassador Nancy. Good evening, everyone. I stand on existing protocol. Mine is a question and it's very brief, and it's directed to the Minister of Malawi, Tourism Malawi, Minister Vera, who happens to be my namesake. So my question is, most times we in all our conferences, we hear the word we should. As regards, this question is directed as regards issues we have, with issues we had as regards barriers obstructing travel for Africans. So my question is, I think at this phase that we are in our sector, we should be transiting from we should to we are doing. and I'm glad that she's here and we have other ministers here. So what efforts or what are plans for those ministers of tourism who are focused on solving this problem? What's the agenda? What's the plan to mobilize and have these discussions, which I believe the organization should be the African Union, because I mean, that's where all the heads are represented, to mobilize this effort to resolve this problem so that we move away from we should to we are doing. So my question is really to her. Thank you, Minister Vera, and again, thanks for that beautiful presentation.
Okay, so the Honorable Minister has had to leave for the evening. So would someone from the Malawi Tourism Authorities or the embassy like to respond? Mr. Abdullah, would you like to respond to that question?
Can I hear the question once again?
Yes.
What's the question about? Sorry.
Could we have, briefly, could we repeat the question again?
Yes, please.
Okay, my question was as regards the solving the problem of the difficulty for Africans to travel within Africa. So these man-made obstacles and barriers that are created by us Africans, our leaders, our various country heads. So my question is the fact that I'm glad that we are at this meeting, we have ministers of tourism. So my question again was, what efforts are those tourism ministers who are really interested in solving this problem? Are there efforts, are there mobilization? Is there something on ground? Because we know that the organization that is responsible for this is the African Union. So what engagement is on ground with these ministers who are at the forefront? Are there any plans so that we transit from our usual conversations of we should to we are doing this already to solve that problem? That's my question.
Yeah, okay. Sorry that I'll answer it according to our experience this side in Cairo. As of now, we don't have a direct flight from Egypt to Malawi. Hence, my office always gets or receives a lot of inquiries for direct flights. The only flight that we have is only from here through Addis or through Johannesburg or through Kenya and then Malawi. So that's a challenge because the longer hours you take, the less interest people have for them to travel. And again, the longer hours you take, the more expensive the flight becomes. So in order to reduce these challenges, I think it's incumbent upon governments to agree or have agreements or sign MOUs with their counterparts, especially in the aviation industry. That's number one. Number two, maybe again to increase the interconnection of the flights. Let's say you have a contingent of investors from Egypt who want to go to Malawi, but they should not go to Malawi only. They can leave Egypt and then go to South Africa. They are visiting the Kruger National Park. From there, they're coming to, let's say, Tanzania, or from there, they are going to Zambia, Zimbabwe, and then Malawi. So if you have such a compact, it will be cheaper for each and every country. So I think these are the only contributions that I can contribute so far, maybe to answer your question. I don't know if that has correctly answered your question, madam.
Thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome.
Okay, so we will just move on to the next question. Honorable Kenny, welcome. The microphone is with you. Honorable Kenny?
Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Yes, first I want to commend the effort of the chair of African Tourism Board and the new commissioners. You people are blessing to Africa. What I want to say is that what we need as tourism practitioners is unity. Because when we're saying we are talking of tourism, if you're in Malawi, you've not visited Nigeria, or you've not visited Ghana, or you're in Ghana, you've not been to Egypt, you are not practicing tourism. Let us start moving, let us know African, let us move around as Africans, let us know our culture. With that, we can unity of purpose will come in, because it's unity that can drive this thing. And by the special grace of God, I know that with these new commissioners coming in, I believe that African tourism will go to another level positively. Thank you and God bless.
Thank you so much, sir. Okay, so we have Engineer Bradley. You have a question?
Yes. Hello, everyone. How are you? My name is Engineer Bradley. First of all, I would like to congratulate all the commissioners. And my question is mainly towards Ambassador Betty Mahugu. And my question is, what exactly do you think is or are the necessary initiatives that the African governments can actually do vis-a-vis making Africa a one-stop tourism destination in the world? Thank you.
Thank you so much. May I answer the question?
Yes, if
in brief, one of the things that, and I want to stick to my docket in the women and youth in the African Tourism Board, one of the major things that the government should do is to, in the development of online infrastructure. We would want infrastructure, common infrastructure, so that, as I said before, we can have the storytelling tourism. You have everybody benefiting from whichever part of Africa they come from when they tell their stories, and the stories go out and people want to visit those places. And again, there's still online sales, because you can sell your story online and people buy the virtual tourism. There's now virtual tourism, and we must take advantage of the technology that we have. And basically, our young people can be able to earn from tourism in their own homes by virtual tourism. That is just one of them.
Thank you.
But the major one, because we want intra-Africa tourism, is a visa issue. We want to follow what Rwanda is doing. Africans should be able to travel in any part of African country without visa. And this is one of the things that I believe our president and the board and African Tourism Board is pushing, to see that we have flawless movement and no visa needed. And also
sorry, we just need to move on. Coming to the end of our session, we've gone over time. So I just will go to the next question. SNM, those initials. You have your hand raised up. You have a question?
Good evening. Yes, I have a question. My question is to Ambassador Betty, and congratulations to all the commissioners. My question is, what are some of the ways in which we can improve on digital tourism as youth?
Okay, so we just ask that we go brief, only because we still have our vice president would like to say something.
Allow me
also
to answer that.
President.
Allow me to just briefly tell, because I'm happy that the youth are actively happy about what is going to happen to them. I believe the youth want to actively participate in what is happening in the tourism. And as I've said, that if the government enhance technology, common technology, we'll be able to, in the villages and everywhere, we'll be able to have everyone benefit. We don't want technology to be only in the cities. We want technology infrastructure in the villages so that we can be able to tell the stories and sell the stories and also benefit from tourism. And again, please allow me to say this, that we push for the movement of the youth intra-Africa wise, so that we have young people moving from one African country to another and telling the story of what you saw, because you're good at online presence, and you're the ones that will tell those outside Africa more about what there is in Africa.
Thank you so much, Ambassador. We need to move on. We have our Vice President, ATB Vice President Dine, Ambassador Dine, Honorary Dine, would like to say something, and then we will have our closing remarks with our Honorable Chairman. Please.
Thank you very much. I want to thank everybody here and understand many questions about tourism in Africa. You know, when Mr. Corbett, our president, accepted to create the commissioner, it is to resolve the problem who is inside the continent about the tourism. We know we get a problem about connection, about transportation by water, by air, water, air, and all system can take to make connection. And also the big problem we would get in tourism in Africa is a visa. And thank you for Madam Commissioner Betty. You talk about visa problem is our main problem in Africa. If you get food, you get everything, and you don't get visa to enter the country, nothing is possible. And visa is our #1 problem. And when we create this commissioner, it is to work to resolve all problems in tourism. Please, everybody here, you can join any commissioner you want. Each commissioner get 2 rapporteurs, and without these 2 rapporteurs, any member of tourism of African tourism can join. You can join 1, 2, 3 commissioners if you like, but with the commissioner, it is to work for Africa. It is to bring solution, and when the solution is okay, with the solution it coming in our board, and our board decide to how to do, and with MOU we get with Africa, Union Africa. You know, ATB get memorandum signed between Africa, Union Africa and ATB. And when our problem, when we get very good solution, the solution we can bring to a Union Africa, and the African Union can help to implement our solution. Please, everybody here, please join 1, 2, or 3 commission to work. Is not is today we make what this one, we make a celebration for commissioner. Now we start to work. Now it's a time to work, not a time to talk. Now it's a time to work. Everybody, please join any commissioner you want. You can join 1, 2, 3, and together we can save all problems in Africa, and we can move on together. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, sir. Thank you. Appreciate that. So we have one last question. First, I just want to make sure, who is your question addressed to, sir? Mr. Kunuthia? Okay, so we're going to move on now then to the closing remarks. We would ask our ATB president, Honorable Cuthbert, if you would kindly give us the closing remarks for today's evening.
All right. Wow.
Can put their calls on mute.
Yes. Can you hear me now?
Yes, sir. We can hear.
Thank you so much, Nancy. We really appreciate, and we have a challenge in terms of connectivity. We just stopped here so that we'll be able to connect and be with you. And as we appreciate our Honorable Minister, In absentia, I believe that she has just stepped out, and we appreciate our patron, Dr. Taleb, and the whole team, the executive of the African Tourism Board, and the new commissioners. Colleagues, it's a race. It's a race, as Honorable Frank has indicated on my remarks, that it is your time, it is my time, it is our time. We need never to be deterred on the mission at hand. So tourism should blend us together. Tourism should cement our relationship. Tourism should be able to bring a smile to that little child in our destinations. Tourism should shape our economies. Tourism should change people's lives. And tourism should cement unity and unity and unity of purpose. And as we are on a marathon, just recently we were in Zanzibar, where we celebrated the Zanzibar International Youth Tourism Summit. And here we are in Turkey. Next week, I believe we will be celebrating the Adaya Sea Festival in Ivory Coast. From there, we are going to converge in Addis as we celebrate, Africa Celebrate. And from there, we're heading to Rwanda, WTTC, where we'll definitely be dancing along the Rwanda Tourism Week, and also the IAFT Egypt, that is around the corner, and Botswana from there, where we'll be hosting our Tourism Investment Summit. All what I want to say, colleagues, that's to say thank you. Thank you so much for your time, and the work begins now. Unity of purpose. Let's all converge. Let's all hold hands. Let's make it happen for our destination. Collaborations, and synergy. Let's appreciate one another. It's not about individual. This has been a collective exercise. Therefore, the world needs you. The continent of Africa needs you. Your destinations needs you. Let's make it happen for our mother Africa. We want to say thank you once again to all our presenters. We want to say thank you once again to all our members. We have converged from the four corners of this world to come, indulge, and celebrate this great day. My dream is to see a united force where we celebrate our Africa Day, not the World Tourism Day, but our Africa Day, where we need to initiate these great initiatives. Thank you once again for those who are going to be leading commissions. Colleagues, it's not what the organization or the country where you're coming from can do for you, but it is what can you do for your destination. When you have run the race, would you be able to stand shoulder high and say, wow, I have achieved my goal. I have ran a good race. What is waiting for me? It's a crown of a goodwill. It is time for us to stand together. It is time for you to stand and fight for our emancipation as a continent. Fight our emancipation, economic emancipation, so that we deliver our beautiful continent, which has so much to offer. Colleagues, I want to say thank you once again. The journey begins now. Let's all join hands. Let's get our hands dirty. Let us leave a good, positive legacy in our destination. Once again, may I say thank you. Can we work towards 2024, Africa World Tourism Day, where all of us, we are going to converge physically in celebrating the achievements that we would have contributed as leaders, as champions within the tourism space. Let us work with our ministers. Let us work with our tourism board. Let's just cut it across the board. Let's work unity of purpose and unity. There is power in unity. Thank you so much. May the Lord that has brought us this far by faith and hard work bind us together in unity bind us together in love and bind us together as one big, happy family. Thank you so much. May God bless each and every one of us until that day where we all converge in celebrating our beautiful mother continent. I thank you.
Thank you so much, Honorable Chairman, for that amazing closing remarks. Really, you have inspired us, and I think we have the energy to move forward and to push our agenda to promote our continent forward. Thank you, and thank you again for all the distinguished guests. I would like to give the floor to our Honorable Secretary General, Honorable Hiwoti. If you could kindly add your remarks, and also if you would kindly also to announce the winners for today's events. Thank you.
Much, Ambassador Nancy. It's been really a great effort that you put over here, and it was an amazing meeting session. Everyone was really fantastic. Thank you so much. I have not much things to add on this because everything has been touched. But I'm here now to announce the winners from the questions asked. So here we have Mafunda Faki, Lucy Marquez, Ambassador Peace Onuri, Honorable Kenny, Nonofo, and iPhone. You identify yourself, and then these are our winners. Please contact me on WhatsApp so that I can arrange your prize are go into your hands. Thank you so much, and back to you, my moderator. You are muted, my dear.
That would help if I was unmuted. I apologize for that. So I just wanted to say, and I apologize for not doing this earlier, but I want to call out also, thank you, Honorable Kenny, for attending today from the Afro-Caribbean Chamber of Culture and Tourism. It's really a great honor to have you, and really to have you all as our distinguished guests. I wish I could call out everyone by name. But again, this, attendance today with everyone coming from different countries and with all different rich backgrounds from the tourism sector, I think this shows the potential, again, that we as Africa, as a continent have. I think we're leaving here with a lot of energy from all of our amazing speakers and participants. So thankful for all the wonderful questions that were asked. So we just want to thank you. We apologize again for going over time. We thank you so much for your flexibility, and we look forward to seeing you in the near future, as well as to see you again at our next upcoming events. As you have heard, we're looking forward to seeing you guys in Cairo next month for the Inter-African Trade Forum, and we do have that link, so please reach out to our Secretary General or to any of us, and we will send you the link so that you can register. We hope that you'll be able to attend. It's such an important event, and again, we look forward to seeing you all soon. Thank you.
Welcome to Egypt.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, bye.
Yeah.
It's been a pleasure.
Thank you, bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
Yeah, thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you all.
Thank you, bye.
Looking forward to seeing you in Cairo soon.
Everyone.